I personally believe that when you have the elderly in society, they have a lot of experience to share with the young folks. And then when you meet them like this, you would want to get the best from them in terms of their experience they've lived with within a particular society, what they can share with the young generation so that we can equally take a cue out of it. And I came to Tim Hortons, I met this man, and in our conversation, he began sharing a lot of interesting stuff when he came here, and then the transformation he had seen since he stayed here for about 35 years. So I'm going to give him the microphone to tell us his experience in the last 35 years. First of all, we're going to find out his name and when he came to Whitehorse, and then how life used to be when he came to Whitehorse. And then through the conversation, we'll establish or get to know the transformation he has witnessed so far, comparing it to today's Whitehorse. All right, let's get through it and then find out about his name. What's your name?
Rob.
Okay, Rob. Where did you move from? Where were you before you came to the Yukon?
Oh, I was down in Winnipeg for a few years.
I see. All right. So, what actually brought you to the Yukon?
The peace and quiet.
Oh, okay. And then, since you came, you experienced the peace and quiet.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this: when you came for the first time, what was the experience? What did you see? What was going on in the Yukon? What was happening?
There was less people here. It's more quiet, not as rushed like it is now. Now there's a lot more people, and it's more rushed like down south. You know, everyone's in a hurry to get everywhere, driving and all that. You know, 5 years back, it wasn't as bad. Much more traffic now too. Sometimes traffic is running all night, whereas a few years ago, after 7, 8 o'clock at night, it would be pretty dead. But now it's steady all night.
I see. So, apart from what you just said, in terms of job, in terms of the job market, what are the major transformation you have seen with work over here?
There's kind of less work for a lot of the local people now because all the big influx of people coming here. You know, a lot of them are getting sponsored, so a lot of places now don't hire the local people as much. So it's harder to get work for some people. You know, not like it was years ago where you could get a job anywhere.
So these days, you think that the opportunities over here has gone down?
They're which?
The opportunities, or job opportunities here has gone down due to the number of people who have come here?
Yes, it's more competitive. Therefore, people who hire people could be more selective of who they hire. Used to be a lot more easier to get a job years ago than it is now. Okay.
So when you came here, what job did you start with? What job were you doing?
Me, I usually did construction work here for the last 35 years off and on. And some other things, also mining work.
How was those work? And then what is the difference today?
Most of the commercial mines are all pretty well shut down now. Well, they had the last one, Victoria Gold, shut down a few months back, and now it's just all small private placer mines running, so they don't hire as many people. You get those big commercial mines, they hire 400 or 500 people on a job site, so the employment isn't there like it used to be. Well, I was just going to say a lot of jobs that were just government jobs and construction mostly.
So now the mining industry is not as it used to be today. I was thinking that the construction should be booming at this point because I've seen a lot of buildings coming up, and then it looks like it's also expensive. So it's kind of lucrative for the real estate sector. So I'm thinking that this will be the point where it will be booming, but then it seems you're saying something different.
It's been booming for the last few years, a lot of buildings, big buildings, but the housing is starting to slow down from what I hear. People aren't buying houses like they used to because they're like $250,000 more now than they were about 3-4 years ago. So realistically, we want to come to the Yukon where it's 8 months of winter to pay $150,000 for a house when you buy one cheaper down south, where you got, twice as much summer as here.
I see.
And cheaper to live also.
I see. So, in terms of, the job field, you've narrated how it used to be. In terms of weather, have you seen any massive transformation, or how the weather used to be back in 35 years ago is still the same, or you've seen some major transformation?
Oh, I remember back in the 90s, when I lived in Dawson, it was about 90 above one time back in 1999. there's a lot more fires back then than there is now. Now we don't get as much fire as we did back then. Plus the heat, the heat doesn't stay here as long either. Summers are shorter here. And then Whitehorse, you get a lot of rain. It's just not as nice here as it was in Dawson.
Yeah, but you told me when you came, you used to stay at Dawson, and I quite remember when I went to Dawson last winter. The place you used to, for me, I called it the ghost town because I couldn't see so many people. It was every time it was so quiet. People were in their rooms and then all that. But then I've heard on the other side that during summer, Dawson is a bubbly place and then all that. Now, paint a picture for us how it used to be in Dawson back in the 35 years ago.
Well, not even then. Even 5 years ago, it used to be much more people there, a lot more tourists. I was just there the other week, and it was actually very dead. Could be possibly because of the fires and that. People don't go there as much, but yeah, it's not busy like it used to be. There used to be always lots of big crowds of people walking down the sidewalks and all that. All the hotels and the bars would be full, and like I say, I was just there the other week, and it was quite dead. I've actually never seen it that dead in all the years I've been here.
A place like Dawson, I've heard about the gold rush and then the legacy of gold rush in Dawson. When you came 35 years ago, was it still? Do you still have the gold rush legacy or kind of imprint of gold rush all written in Dawson?
Well, back in 1994, when I moved to Dawson, that's when the price of gold pretty well dropped and bottomed out. So there's actually people that were moving away from there because of the low price of gold. And it's just been the last few years where the price of gold went back up. So now it's the gold mining is getting more active out there, bigger money. It's like $4,500 an ounce or more now. Back in about 1995, that's when the gold bottomed out, about $240 US an ounce. So that was a big difference. Now it's a lot more money, so people are trying to mine more.
What made Dawson a good place for you to stay? Why Dawson?
The peace and quiet, less people, especially in the wintertime. The wintertime is like a ghost town, if you're like myself where you don't want to be where there's a lot of people, it's a good place to live.
How long did you live in Dawson, and then when did you come to Whitehorse?
Me, I've moved to Dawson in 1994 and came to Whitehorse a few years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh, it's not been too long since you came to Whitehorse.
What's that?
It's not been too long since you came to Whitehorse.
I used to come here all the time to shop for groceries and that, but I've always been living in Whitehorse probably for the last 3-4 years now, off and on.
And then in your life in the last 3 years in Whitehorse compared to Dawson, will you still choose Dawson over Whitehorse?
Yes, Dawson's quieter. The only problem with Dawson is it's very expensive to live there. The food is double the price and all that, and it's hard to find a place to live there if you want to move there,
Next thing we'll talk about is we'll look at the crime rate in Dawson. I know Dawson's population is equally small compared to that of Whitehorse. I know Whitehorse is the most populous places within the Yukon. But then again, I would want to look at in terms of crime rate, in terms of social vices and all that, Dawson compared to Whitehorse. I don't want to say that it's obvious that Whitehorse will be higher, but how was it back in Dawson?
Well, it wasn't too bad up until a few years ago, but even just the other week, there's been a few stabbings there and that. So, things are getting worse everywhere. More people here and more drugs and stuff. And
for somebody out there who's that new, probably coming from a different province, who's watching us, what will you say? What will you tell him? What notes should he take if he is listening to this interview?
Oh, I don't know. They'd have to find out their own. They'll find out very quickly. It's not cheap to live here. It's probably some of the more expensive gas in the country, and the rent is actually quite high too.
Thank you.